Hello everyone and welcome back to Resonant Rise episode 6, and last episode I left you with a smeltery that was automated, and this time I've changed it up a bit and I'll explain why in a second. But I've also built the other 7 smelteries that I said I was going to. Now I know this is a bit wasteful, but it's fun, it looks cool, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, the reason I have removed all this stuff here is because I wanted to go for a slightly different design. I decided that the timer on top of the thing was a little bit ugly, and there's a better way of doing it, basically. So, this episode, that's what I'm going to focus on. I'm going to get that part of the thingy sorted probably at the end of the episode, but before we do that, I'm going to need a bit of power and infrastructure, because we're going to need some fluid ducts, and if I type in fluid ducts, they're over here, there we go. Now you can go with opaque ones, which requires lead and copper, which you could make, but I actually want to get ones that you can see the fluid flowing through them, just for the extra coolness effect. And for that I'm going to need hardened glass, which the only way to make hardened glass is to use an induction smelter. So I'm going to need some infrastructure to build the hardened glass, and obviously, as I said, last episode, I'm going to start with some power. Now, I debated whether to do the storage system or power. I decided to go with the power to help me build the, to finish off the smeltery. So, I'm going to grab a couple of things, and I'm going to sleep through the night, and I'll come back. Okay, now to get started, I'm going to need some power, and I decided to put it up here somewhere, so I've just flattened out this area. It's only a small area, and as with the other 2 builds, I'm going to do the technical stuff of the build, and then I will build the pretty stuff afterwards. Now you will actually get to see me finish the majority of the smeltery build by the end of this episode, so at least you get to see something pretty. But like I said, this episode I'm just going to build the basic power stuff and tidy it up once I've between episodes. So the first thing I'm going to need is a way to power, and for that I'm going to use, as I did over with this thing, I'm going to use some steam dynamos, and to fuel them I'm actually going to use the wood from this stuff. So I think I have everything ready. I've just slept through the day, so we should have quite a lot of time to build this. I've got myself 9 steam dynamos, so the first thing I want to do is place them down. I also made some hardened energy conduit. So for 9 steam dynamos we're just going to need 3 pieces of conduit. That's what I was looking for. And there we go. So we got all of these powered up. Well, not powered up yet, but all of these are connected to this conduit. And then I'm going to want to run this conduit around to the furnaces I've made. And I've made 3 redstone furnaces, so these are also from thermal expansion. And if I just place them off to the side like so, and I want to configure these to input from the top, and they want to output at the back, and the same for each of them. So oops, there we go. And then I'm going to power these. I'm going to run this conduit to the bottom of these. I'm going to inject the items into the top, and I'm going to pull them out from the back, and then send them back around and send them into the dynamos. So I'm just going to route some cables and stuff, some fluid ducts, item ducts and stuff like that, and I'll come back once I've done it. So there we go, I've got the conduits coming into a cell that I've just made. This is a hardened one, so it should be, like it says, input and output 400 redstone flux. And then there is conduit underneath. I'll just break this and I'll show you. Conduit here. I won't be able to get back out now, can I? And it runs underneath around here and just connects to the bottom of the furnaces here. And then finally I've got some item duct that runs around here. Obviously this will all be either rerouted or covered up in some way when I do build the building, but it just runs around here and joins to the back of this barrel. And then I have a item duct running out of the barrel into the steam dynamos. So what's going to happen is I'm going to stick some wood in here. I'm going to pump it in. In fact, I'm going to need some item ducts on top for that. And I haven't quite decided on the way I'm going to get the wood into it, but for now I think what I'm just going to do is I'm going to get the dolly and I'm going to take one of the barrels from over there, replace it with a fresh barrel, and then just simply hook it up, and then the barrel can feed into the furnaces, and then obviously the system goes. So it's going to feed the wood into here, the charcoal is going to get pulled out from the back. In fact, it's not going to get pulled out, it's just going to get pushed out, because if you just wrench these, it will automatically eject into the pipe, travel down here, go into the barrel. Then this is going to be set with a where are they going? A servo, and the servo is going to ignore a thingy. I will set the whitelist and I'll add charcoal to it. I'm also going to have a whitelist on this as well, just so there's no wood ends up in here somehow. And then yeah, it pulls out, goes into the steam dynamos, and that's pretty much it. I've got a new barrel. I'm just going to replace it with, let's see which one. Let's go for the Secura. So I'll place this one down, take out a stack and throw it in there, lock this one up, and then I can move that one out of the way, put that one in, and then take this one back, place that down there, there you go, and place a servo on top, change it to ignored, and give this a quick wrench. Right, so now we've got the wood is coming out of here, and it's going to be injected into the furnaces. This is going to need some power, so that's why I brought some charcoal along. So it's going to turn it into charcoal, throw it out the back, and end up in here. So hopefully, if I just add some of this, it should start up and thingy. Oh, we're going to need some liquid. Okay, so let's grab some Flowducts. Throw these down here. 3 of them. Bring it around the front. This can go through the middle, and then we can place the first aqueous accumulator there. It's going to need some water, so let's go grab some of that. And there we go. And all these have started to create some power. This will be filling up, and these have all turned on. So that should work. Now I'll come back once it's started to actually fill up these machines with charcoal, and then we can start to use the power for the machines. So I'm going to make them in the meantime, and then yeah, I'll come back. Created myself a pulverizer and an induction smelter. I've just hooked them up, and as you can see, they filled quite nicely with power. They're just hooked up the same way as the other one. Just change this back to that. And the first thing, obviously, I'm going to need is some pulverized obsidian. So I just mined 14 of it, not too much of it. Let me change all the outputs as well. And then I'm going to need some lead, and then I can make some glass. So that's pretty much it for this section. Obviously, like I said, this looks a bit weird now because it's just in the middle of out in the open. But eventually I will get some a building attached to it like I did with these, and it should look okay. So what is my plan for the smelteries then with this hardened glass and Flowducts? Well, I've created myself some of the Flowducts. And the thing about smelteries is, with the smelter drain, you can attach Flowducts to them, and if you give it a pneumatic servo, it will pull out any of the liquid that's inside it. Now, you can actually attach these the Flowducts to pretty much any side of the drain. So if I was to remove this block, I could actually attach it to the side of it. I could even attach it to the top. It doesn't really matter, but that's something you can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect all these Flowducts together. I'm probably going to have to remove some of my floor, and it takes a while to remove it, so probably end up doing that off camera. But basically what's going to happen is the Flowducts are going to come along under the floor, and they're going to come to around here. Then they're going to be submerged into the floor, and I'll dig out a hole, I'll set some of the stuff up, and I'll show you what it's actually going to do. Right, so here's the plan. I'm going to throw in some copper ore so that can smelt up, and I'm going to add some pneumatic servos to each of these. I'm going to need to click it and set it to ignore a redstone signal. and then give each one of these a quick wrench. Now once the metal has melted up, it shouldn't take too long, the fluid is going to travel down the flow ducts and it's going to travel this direction. And over here, as you can see, I've dug a hole. You can hear a hecate. The fluid is going to travel and get stored into this tank. Now once it's stored in this tank, this is just like a small buffer. I will eventually upgrade this tank as well, because this can only currently hold 8 buckets. I've added a pneumatic servo to here. Give this one a quick wrench as well. And then what's going to happen is it's going to pull it out, as you can see already. Pulling it out, turn it into ingots. It's going through the hoppers like the last system, and it turns into ingots. So that's pretty much it. And I'm going to do that system for all of the smelteries, and I'm going to run the fluid ducts for each of them down under the ground like this sort of style, and then I will cover it over with some dark glass and it will look pretty cool. Obviously I will replace this with this futuristic stuff, and I reckon it'll look pretty cool. So I'm going to do all of that off camera. I will tidy this up a bit as well, and then I'll come back and I'll pretty much show you the completed product. So I'm going to go basically disappear for a good 20-30 minutes and sort this out. Well, it is the finished product, and I actually think it looks really cool. Maybe just me, but I definitely think it looks cool. So I've set them all up. Everything's wrenched in the right positions. There is a cast in them all. I've even put down a gold chest. Now, admittedly, the only problem I have currently is, even if I do make gold ingots, I've got no way of actually getting to the gold chest without just breaking one of these covers, jumping down, and then pillaring my way up. But other than that, you know, it's pretty cool. I do really like it. I think it looks very technical. Now, a quick thing to mention is fluid ducts will connect if you have nothing flowing through the pipes. Now, if you do have something flowing through the pipes, it will stop them connecting. But just to be on the safe side, what I've done is I've added some of the dark glass covers, basically pointing straight down, so they break up the pipes, so the flow ducts, from touching each other. I've also added a hollow glass cover, so they fit through. Now, the cool thing about these is these microblocks actually have connected textures. Unfortunately, they don't connect to these hollow covers, but everything else connects, so I think that's kind of what makes it look cool. I guess I can get rid of that now. Right, so that's pretty much it for episode 6 of Resonant Rise. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and I will see you later.